Going on, guys? ReflexEye here. Bringing you most likely my last video dealing with grief, or one of my last. I don't know. Maybe I'll make some custom clips or whatever I do down the road. But I just wanted to get a video out there. First of all, this is really old footage. All this stuff. This is like Farm No Magic stuff. Most of it's from the summer of 2013. This is just all the footage I've had because I don't have my cap card down at college, and it's all the footage I've had stored on it that I just wanted to get something to talk over. It's probably gonna be like a 15 to 20 minute video. I'm gonna cover everything from the players and everybody I know to be good, know not to be good, and reasons why I'm quote unquote retiring, as everybody calls it nowadays, which is a pretty lame word to me. I mean, this isn't like a life or a career. I don't know. It seems like a bad word, but reasons why I'm done with grief. So, right, the main part of this video, reasons why I'm done with, really the main reason, overriding reason is I'm pretty much forced to be done. My Xbox is shot about a month ago for the Super Bowl. My hallmates wanted me to bring my TV outside because it's a nice size TV, and hook it up outside in our common room so we could all watch the Super Bowl and whatever. And I said sure, whatever. Unfortunately, my TV was behind my Xbox, and me and my buddy were lifting it up, and we tried to lift it over the Xbox, and we accidentally caught the edge. My Xbox fell from about 4 feet to on a hard tile floor. So, and ever since then, it freezes up. It can run low megabyte stuff or low key like things like Netflix or the online poker game I play for fun. But when I play Grief, it freezes about every other game. If not, like it just kind of comes and goes in like spurts. Sometimes it freezes every time I try and start a game in Black Ops 2. It'll just freeze up. So that's the main reason I'm done. Is that my Xbox just can't take it. I can't afford to enter a tournament. I would just be timing out of every game. My Xbox just freezes. It's nothing to do with my connection. I just think I fucked it up pretty good when I dropped it from 4 feet on the hardwood floor. So, yeah, Gazelle, Bane, everybody else, Dark Assassin, I don't know why it's a theme. They all think they quote unquote retired me. I don't know why they would have the slightest clue as to they think they did that. Because I mean, Gazelle King and Bane, the last four town tournaments we've entered, we've won all of them. I'm 4 for 4 in my last town tournaments, and three of them Gazelle's and Bane's team were in, and one of them we didn't play and they got eliminated by some other team. We still won the tournament, and the other two we beat them in both tournaments. One tournament was American host only, so it was me, Jeff, and Zom Destroyer, 3v3, and they got American host favorite on all of them. When they hosted, they gave us 2 bars, and we still beat their ass 3-0 in the finals. So that's the sorriest excuses by Gazelle King and Bane. They're definitely bad losers for sure. Saying this or that, they retired me because they really did nothing of that. I've absolutely smashed them, stomped them, showed my team and myself are much better than them. So the fact that their bios are so conceited and self-absorbed is pretty baffling to me. That Gazelle has that stupid bio about him being the best. Dark Assassin does. I mean, everybody seems to be making one nowadays, which is pretty sad. I don't know what ever happened. It just everybody's shutting up and let the play do the talking. But I mean, I understand why it happens. Like they got that Gazelle King and Bane have What a Beast and Lusk and even Die Hard. I've seemed to see kind of just following their every step, just believing their every word, even though they can make up whatever. But they just have that group of 10 to 15 Americans who think they're good at town, who are just real bad losers. Who when they get beat, they can't admit that someone's better or whatever. And the saddest part is we've beat them as fair as it gets for us and as unfairly for them because they just try and bullshit us. We enter these American host only tournaments with 2 UK players or 3 UK players when it's a 4-on-4. I'm the only American on my team, and we beat them with a 2 bar or 2 bars or very poor connection, and they still continue to host these rigged tournaments and everything, and actually think that they can call themselves the best without actually properly giving the other half of the world, half of the Grief players, the proper chance to host, and they should be at the same disadvantage to be playing on a UK 3 bar. Yes, it's not the best, but that's part of Grief. So the fact that they actually think they're good out of that, I think, is pretty sad. Not to mention the one tournament we beat them in, the 3v3, where they hosted twice and gave us 2 bars. That was Bane and Gazelle both sent out messages saying $50 prize for each member of the winning team, and we probably knew it was bullshit. Because they were so sure that they were gonna win, because they think they're the best, and they have their obviously the rigged rules of American host only. Like you would never see that on Farm No Magic. Farm No Magic, there was connection rules. Anybody could host as long as there was a minimum or a maximum of 1 2 bar. There wasn't just teams didn't try and fuck each other over as much as they do on town, because the town community honestly is quite a bit of a joke in that sense. So that pretty much wraps up my spiel on Gazelle and Bane and kind of the town community right there. And except for the fact that they think they retired me, they think they're much better, they think this or that about my team. All I can tell you is that I've kept my stats from the beginning of Grief, whether it was Farm, 4v4, No Magic, and Town. I have actually looked back through all my cap card. I've never deleted a video from my cap card. I watched the tournaments I recorded, the tournaments I won, the tournaments I lost, the tournaments I came in third place, but I didn't care about those. I only kept stats of my tournaments won ratio to the tournaments I've entered. And I assure you, Gazelle, King, and Bane have nothing near the stats. First of all, they're one-trick ponies. They only know how to play Town. I have 26, as is my team. This is the same thing. Jeff's usually on my team, Flop is on my team, and Zom Destroyer. You guys can say I have my teammates carry me. You guys can say whatever. I agree. My teammates do carry me at times. They are the three best players in the world on Town and Farm, no doubt. In terms of swing players, if you know how to play Farm and Town, I'm saying both. No question. Zom Destroyer, Jeff One Man Army, and ZGS Floppa are the three other best players in my eyes. And yes, you can say I'm biased because the teammate argument, and I can see where you'd say that, but I'm just simply looking at numbers. I have about 45 overall wins on Town and Farm. Jeff has about 50. Floppa has about 30, and that's only because he hasn't been around that long. He didn't even play Town starting until December of 2013, and he only started playing Farm in the summer of 2013. And Zom Destroyer himself has about 40 to 45 tournament wins. So I do think they're the best. That's the end of that. You guys can say whatever about my teammates and myself, but that's going to make no difference. And then, so yeah, 26 4v4 Farm first place finishes for myself with at least 8 teams entered, so that's what I need to consider a legitimate tournament. 12 tournament wins on Town out of 24. And I really, honestly, only got good at Town over Christmas break. Like, I wasn't too good at it. My ratio wasn't too hot. Like I said, we've won 4 straight Town tourneys that we've entered. Also, 4 straight Farm tourneys of 4v4, no magic. So I really don't understand how someone like Gazelle, who maybe has 10 tournament wins only on Town, because that's all he knows how to play, when he's a 5-hit down and he doesn't have to 360 and gets a revive in 4/10 of a second, as opposed to Farm, which I've always found to be the better game type. I mean, many people agree. I just moved on to Town to show I could learn and conquer. Same with Jeff. We both agreed Farm was dead. Nobody played it anymore. It was going as strong as ever, better than any game type for a year and 2 months. So, I mean, I wasn't going to complain about that. We just decided to move on. And like I said, we've won the last 4 Town tourneys, the last 4 Farm tourneys. And it's actually 6 straight. Like, the Farm tourneys were pretty far spread apart. Like, we won one early January and then some like early February. But the Town, we are 4 for 4. We beat Gazelle and Bane's team twice, and they still continue to talk. And so does the Town community, just talk shit because, in a tournament, when you win, you have one team that won, and you have 7 or 8 teams who are mad that they beat. So obviously they're going to talk shit. So I understand why it happens, but it's just bullshit talk. I know I'm talking about Gazelle and Bane a lot too, because they're the main 2 bitches on Town who keep coming at me. But I'm just throwing out other players. Like I said, Dark Assassin, Nick Bean, who think they're really good. Dark Assassin thinks he beats me every time, but I'm literally 9-0 against him in scrimmages, and I beat him one time in a tournament. It's the only time I've come across him. So he's honestly a joke. I don't know why he still talks. And if you can't tell by now, guys, you can obviously tell I'm being like brutally honest. Normally I keep my opinions to myself or my teammates, or I only talk if someone comes at me. But like I said, I'm forced to kind of be done with grief, so I figured I'll let everything out now and let people know what I think and basically the facts. Because I have the facts, other people just talk out of their ass. So I'll keep going here. I'm just going to be honest about some players. This is not in any particular order, not a top 10, but just the players that come to mind, the first 10. I Am Fart, Stinky Dreams, really good farm player. QP Derek, Chong Bong, as annoying as he is, and how many disputes we've had, he's very good. Elmo's very good. Step Up hasn't played in a while, he was very good. Laiku retired, one of the best. Champs was always good, he didn't play too much. Griefaholic was good, I liked Militia King. And I liked Firm, I thought he was up and coming. Some people who were close, I think Crazy Train's a very good town player, or farm player. I thought Zeus Cannon was pretty good, I thought Element was pretty good. That about rounds it out for me, honestly. Remember, this list right here is not, Fart is not number 1 on the list. I mean, he might be, he's close. But that's in no particular order. That's just about the 10 best players, in my opinion. And again, I am leaving out my teammates. Not just my most recent teammates. I'm leaving out like Governor, Tryhard, Godzilla. I think all of them would be in the top 10. Obviously, Jeff, Floppa, and Zomstroy, I left them out too. So that's not including them. But On to town. Let's move on to about the 10 players that I think of when I think of town. First 10 players that come to mind as good players or great players. Again, this list will include my town teammates, which were Jeff, One Man Army, Zom Destroyer, and ZGS Floppa. I've already said in the previous video, the top 3 swing players, Town Magic and Farm No Magic players in the game, so they're excluded from the list. But I'll give you my estimated top 10 or the top 10 players in my view. Yeah, I could honestly only come up with 7 players. I would put way up there, up top. Some other players that are just outside the top, my top group that are very good at town are. I like Teachum. I thought he was a really good player. I like ZGS Freaky. I think he's very good. Gods of Ham's very good. Yeah, that's about it. Notice I didn't include like Lusk or Milkman or Die Hard. A lot of the people think they're really good, but I just think it's just that little group of 15 or 20 people who all have each other backs who just overrate themselves. I think Gazelle and Bane are the only 2 good out of there. Just to clarify, because I don't want anyone asking me, like, oh, why are you talking so much shit about Gazelle and Bane, but then you're putting it on top players list. It's because I'm not biased. I think they're arrogant and full of themselves. Their level of narcissism is very, very high, but I still think they're good players. They just think they're better than they are. I think my team's better than them. I think I'm better than them. That's my opinion, and that's what every single number shows me. So that's all I have to say about that. They're still both very good town players, but not the best in my mind. And the numbers just support that and would indicate they're not the greatest. Alright guys, so I've pretty much run out of capture card footage, so I'm just going to have this title block up for a while. Hopefully my commentary is interesting enough where you can just listen to that and it won't be too boring without actual like montage footage. But this is just all my stats I've kept track of. I am a stat freak. These are all true. I've jotted them down since the beginning of Grief when I started in January of 2013. Not trying to sound cocky with this, just simply presenting the numbers to people who hate, and I've never been more hated in my career than I have now because I've won 4 towns straight, 4 farms straight. Gazelle King, Bane, Dark Assassin, Hollowcross, Chongbong, Chasmatic, oh man, the Jonesy, Ruthless Kill, the list could go on. If I really thought about it, I could name you 25 people who absolutely hate my guts. So I'm simply throwing these numbers out there. I've kept them myself my whole Grief career for a year and a half because I've really never felt the need to let other people know because I knew, my team knew that we played the best. We showed we played the best, and here are the stats. Simply the simple numbers. I'll just help describe them and break them down for you. So 26 4v4 Farm No Magic wins with at least 8 teams in the tournament. And I say 8 plus teams. At least 20 of those, there was about 13 or more teams. There was usually 15 to 16 teams every week when Farm No Magic was hopping. This is 4v4, so that's 64 people in almost every tournament, about 56 to 64 people. Nowadays, everybody knows there's 3v3 town tournaments hosted, and the tournaments struggle to get 8 teams, so people struggle to get 24 and 30 people in a Grief tournament nowadays. So if that doesn't symbolize that Grief's slowly dying out and the competition isn't what it once was, then I don't know what is. But a 62, I'm all about ratios and your tournament win ratios, because I think that is the only thing at the end of the day. People can talk out their ass, people could say this, say that, but as the only factual content at the end of the day that someone can present to someone else to say, I'm better than you, or my team is better than you, or whatever. Now, I've heard the argument, why do I care about tournament wins so much or whatever. I've heard, and one of my friends, Gov, who I think he's completely wrong on this point, says he doesn't enter tournaments, but he's a really good custom match player, and he plays cell block and this and that. I don't see how that can be any more valid, that at the end of the day, your tournament ratio, how many times you've entered a tournament to how many times you've won it, how that can't be the best factual number to present to someone if you wanted to see who is better. Like saying you're good in a custom game or when you just mess around but you can't get it done in tournaments, that's like saying, the preseason of a football is important, or preseason of basketball is important. Like custom lobbies are mess around, they're warm-ups and practice for real tourneys. I don't see how someone can say like, oh, I'm really good in customs, I'm automatically better than you, or whatever. That seems to be just a huge common misconception I really just can't wrap my head around because it makes no sense. Tournaments are where the best teams are at, it's where it's organized, it's competitive, it's fair. I mean, if you can't get the job done there, then that's what you have to be based off, in my opinion. And I don't think there's any arguing that. I don't see how there is. Again, people are going to say I have the bias. Of course, I want tournament ratios because I have very good tournaments entered to tournaments won ratios. I'm going to be biased towards that. Of course, I want that as the main factor to see who's better, what team is better. But I just don't buy the counter argument that custom games are important or anything else is important, because the tournaments, like I said, are where it's fair and where it's at, and you got to win to get the job done there and be considered one of the best. I'm going to end this video here though, but don't worry, I will have a part 2. Probably be another 15 minutes. I'll repaste this list and talk about cell block and town and everything else to do with Grief. So thanks for watching. Watch part 2 soon.